Our Western way of life. Isn't it grand? Peace, freedom, coffee and bread. But what if it's not? Friends, in the future, we may have episode 41 of Irrelevant Interviews online. So prepare for the future. The future is now.
Hello.
Hello.
I'm really glad I didn't screw up with the time zones in my first international episode, which was episode 9. I didn't know that that was the exact day when what you call winter time was getting started. So I had one guest who was on time, and the other guest was sure that the show was gonna start 1 hour later. But now I got you all at the same time. I always start
That
by
is good, at
asking.
least.
I always start by asking a question. How many of you have previously been interrogated by me? Yeah, and Lem0n. So I'm gonna get started with someone else today. Loki.
Hey.
Hi. Tell me one thing. What was your last cosplay?
Oh God. It was Jojo. It was Giorno, the
Giorno.
pink guy.
What does Giorno do?
Cool stance and looks cool. It's just a cool guy.
Just a cool guy. Have you participated in cosplay contests?
I have, but it was well, it wasn't like a traditional cosplay. I was cosplaying a chicken, like a literal chicken. My friend was doing the KFC man, so I was like helping him out.
A live chicken or a fried chicken?
Well, both. As the show went on, it was very morbid.
Got fried live on stage.
Yeah, on stage. Yeah, in front of all the judges and the audience.
Perfect.
So graphic.
Awesome.
What's the funniest moment you remember during a cosplay contest?
During a cosplay contest? Oh God. I mean, I've been to I only performed once on stage like that. Yeah, and it was the chickens, and it was definitely very, very funny. I got to slide on the ground a lot. I was all dusty, so I have fun doing that. But overall, I've performed a lot with CosEstStuudio, and we have a lot of fun backstage. I can't remember certain moments, sadly.
Okay. Tell me one thing. If you had a superpower that you could use only once, what would it be?
Oh God, you're putting me on the spot right now. Only once?
Only once.
You know what? Sometimes I think if I could turn back time, and then if I know everything that is going to happen, right? I would be the perfect person. I would know everything. So I guess I would turn back time and do everything perfectly.
Okay.
Is that too deep?
No, you're free to answer anything you want.
All right.
One last thing. If you were a pizza, how much avocado would you have?
If I was a what?
A pizza.
Pizza. How much avocado? Oh, none.
No.
I am. No, I am the worst person to ask about pizzas. I love pineapple on pizza. Like I would get crucified in Italy or something. I think.
Okay. For this round, I'm gonna go next with Novice.
Hello.
Hello. What was your last cosplay?
My last cosplay was Maki Harukawa from Danganronpa V3. I know Danganronpa. I know it's still pretty popular, but maybe like less popular to cosplay these days. But I'm like finally okay at sewing, so I wanted to actually make a costume.
What's that about?
It is that high school killing game video game. It's like a visual novel where the high schoolers are trapped in a school and they have to like kill each other to escape. It's really the synopsis. It's like edgy.
Okay.
But it's also very like goofy and campy, which is why I like it.
I think I know the answer to this, but have you competed in cosplay contests?
Yeah, definitely. So I actually consider myself still kind of new to contests. I kind of started like during the pandemic, really. And then last year was my first time doing an actual skit or performance on stage.
After the pandemic, I started noticing a growth in the number of cosplayers that I've encountered. So I suppose it's been like that everywhere.
Yeah, I think so. At least definitely in the US.
Here too. What's the funniest moment you remember during a cosplay contest?
I think like one of the funniest skits I saw was last year at Anime Los Angeles. They have a recording online, but it was my friend's skit Artemis, I and Half Goat All Ninja. They did a Taylor Swift parody. I don't know. I'm not a Swiftie. I don't know the song name, but it's the one that's like, if you could see the one. What is it? Why can't you see? You belong with me. That one, and it was really funny. But it was with I think the character is Mew from Mew Ichigo from Tokyo Mew Mew, and the creepy alien guy Kishu. It was really funny.
Okay, can you
I'll
tell
have to
me?
link it.
Can you tell me how many cosplayers does it take to change a light bulb?
Well, I can change a light bulb by myself, so I guess one.
One. Okay. One last question. Could you tell me what would you use to shave a cactus?
Probably one of those like carrot shavers for the cactus for like the fall.
All right. Next, I'm gonna go with those two on the same camera. Closest.
Hello.
Hello. Bombeshe, is that how it's pronounced?
Yes.
Yes.
What was your last cosplay?
My last cosplay was Sophie from Howl's Moving Castle.
And what's that about?
Well, Howl's Moving Castle is a Ghibli movie where basically Sophie and Howl are the main characters. And, well, I guess you can talk a bit more accurately about the movie because you've seen it many more times. But basically, these are the two main characters that we both cosplayed.
Yeah, my last cosplay also was Howl. So yeah, from Howl's Moving Castle. It's a Ghibli movie. I think everyone has seen it once in their childhood or in the span of their life. But yeah, it talks about a wizard who is a very morally gray character on both sides, and a hat maker girl who falls in love with the wizard. And it's a majestic and just such a pretty movie.
I know of its existence, but I'm not a big fan of Ghibli, so I haven't seen it.
Scandalous.
The links are censored on Twitch, but you can share your link on the private chat. Have you both participated in cosplay contests?
Yes. Many times.
But we also actually started even after the pandemic. I think in 2021 was our first one.
Yeah. So we've done it for 3 years now, but at this point we've participated in like 13 cosplay contests, so a lot. It's a contest every 2 months.
Yeah, I thought so. What's the funniest moment you've each had during a contest?
I will go first.
Okay.
Last year, during the summer, it was at Unicon Latvia. I had a duo with my partner, and first off, backstage, we had a huge prop table where we had actual food on there, and all the stage managers and the crew helping get the props on stage. After the performance, we decided to eat most of it, and also our friends. And we didn't wash the grapes, yeah. And 3 people actually got food poisoning from them. So that was like a sad but also kind of funny moment. And also on stage with that performance, my partner did their first cosplay, and they didn't know that they needed to pin the wigs, and we had a very choreo heavy cosplay, and the wig came off on stage. We got it on again very quickly, but the live stream clip of that performance has the exact moment zoomed in of the wig coming off, so it was really funny. It was the biggest joke at the con. Yeah. And you?
What measure?
I have that specific of a story, but something that I think about quite often. You know, we have this CosEstStuudio, this organization, and it's gotten quite large at this point. So naturally, like the community in Baltics is pretty small. So at every Baltic convention, at least like some people that are like associated with CosEstStuudio, like get like something like some award. And some people on TikTok thought that at one point, like in the spring, they were starting to talk about how the contests are rigged. And actually, in some TikTok comments, there were people accusing like the whole organization of sleeping with the judges before conventions to get these awards. So this is something that I think about quite often, and this is something that I laugh about every time we go to a convention.
Yeah.
Okay, next. I'm gonna let you choose who to answer this. Could you tell me how many cosplayers can fit in a Volkswagen?
You have the driver's license.
No, I can tell you how many cosplayers can fit in a Volvo. I think our 7 is the maximum amount of cosplayers that we have fit in our car.
7. How many in the trunk?
2.
2. Makes sense. One final question for you two. Could you tell me what's the importance of mustard in a cabbage cake covered in chocolate?
You take this one.
Cabbage covered in chocolate. Well, I guess there is like the flavor of cabbage that is, to me, like kind of like sour and tangy, and then there's the chocolate as well. So that like sourness from the mustard, and that I don't know what that flavor is called. Like bitter, like the bitterness from the mustard is like, I think that's going to like balance it all together really nicely.
Amazing. Aya,
Yeah.
how long has it been?
Well, I can't remember. It's been a while.
I know. What was your last cosplay?
I cosplayed Loot from Husband Hotel.
And what has been Hotel about?
Well, I feel like I hope this is like because you're asking because you want like to include all the viewers, because if you haven't watched it, I am gonna be so angry with you, Dimas. But it is
I have.
okay. Short version is the daughter of the devil wants to make all the sinners go back or go to heaven. That's the short version of it.
The executive summary.
Well,
Okay.
you know, I will just say, if anyone hasn't watched it, go watch it right now. Go bless your life.
All right. And have you competed in cosplay contests?
Yes, multiple times. I don't think I've lost track of how many times, because there's definitely a couple of acts I want to forget forever. But the last one was in JPopCon last year in Denmark. And I was cosplaying as a Asterion, which was my first ever male cosplay, which was scary because, you know, everyone is here fist trapping over him.
And what's the funniest moment you remember during a contest?
Well, I don't know if this is necessarily funny, but I felt it like really overwhelming at the time. But when everyone else was answering the questions, I was like, this was the memory that popped into mind, was when actually with the Asterion act, because I barely got onto the stage before I could like hear people in the audience starting to be like, oh my god, it's Asterion, it's Asterion, it's Asterion, she's cosplaying Asterion. And like they hadn't made like showed the video yet. And then we have like short intro videos where they do like a mashup of scenes, and I got the Hosier Eat Your Young video or song that is like was pretty big on TikTok for a while for Asterion. And the guy who made the video like went above and beyond to make like a full ass thirst trap. So like before the 15 seconds after they showed this video, I was like hit by a wall because people were so excited about the act. So I ended up being a bit like, am I even gonna live up to this? Because everyone is too excited right now. But it ended up pretty well. Everyone was pretty excited about it. So if you haven't watched the OnlyFans YouTube video, or if you have, you know what I did basically. It was a just for fun and giggles act. I just needed to go on stage. I just wanted to have fun. Very well taken. Like, I can't remember the word right now, but people approved.
Okay. One more thing. Could you tell me, if you could breathe underwater, in what time period would you like to live?
Well, I would love to be able to breathe underwater, and I think like before the world got like in with all the machinery and all that, I would love to live in the ocean, because like as a person who spent more than 200 hours underwater, I would have loved to seen it at its glory when it wasn't like ruined by humans. That didn't really answer your question now, did it though?
No, but it was an interesting fact I didn't know about you. One last thing. Could you tell me what's your opinion about the price of vegan chicken salad with mayonnaise?
I have none because I haven't bought it. So I don't know what the price is. But my guess is far too expensive and it should be much more accessible.
Makes sense.
Mhm.
Lem0n,
Yes.
what are you dressed as right now?
It's closet cosplay of Asuka from Evangelion. I have the little things. I couldn't place them properly because of the headset, and I looked up for outfits of her in like casual versions, and I found like the Radio Ava one, and I had the jacket, and I have it over there, and I forgot to put it just because I got ready like 10 minutes before because I was cutting the bangs right before the stream. So I it's kind of like half done, but it's here.
What does Asuka do?
Well, she's from Evangelion, so she fights in this like mecha thing called the Ava, and she fights these things. There are these creatures called angels, and yeah, it's if I try to explain Evangelion, I'm not gonna be able to do it properly because I don't understand it. I've watched it like 3 times and I still don't get the hang of it.
Yeah, we've been there. Have you competed in cosplay contests?
I actually just competed for the first time in the last event I went to,
Mhm.
which was definitely an experience. I did not even get to go on stage. I did not make it to the top to get to go on stage, but it was fun. The process was stressful, definitely, but it was silly.
Okay, since you've been there only once, I'm gonna ask you, what's the funniest moment you remember during a convention?
Oh, during a convention. It was actually in the same one I went to participate in. The second day, I brought the Pyramid Head mask with me, and I just went like as a feminine Pyramid Head. And the thing is that I was gonna like I got to do some pictures with some photographers, and they were using like smoke for the pictures, and I was like, hey, let's put it underneath the mask because it had like little pores, so it could like fizzle out from the mask. And I was like, that's gonna look really cool, and it did look really cool. But the process of like filling it up, I was like, oh my god, I am gonna die. And I was like choking, but it was so funny, and they were so nice, which was also very lovely because they were like, are you okay? And I was like, not being able to speak because of the smoke, but I was like, take the picture. Which was silly. It was silly. I enjoyed that. I usually have a lot of like silly moments because I don't know. I usually go with like very chaotic people to conventions, like chaotic in the best way possible. But yeah, so it's always fun.
Good to know. Could you tell me, how could you tell whether Australia is real and the Australians aren't paid actors?
Okay, so here's the thing. Pigeons are just little robots with tiny cameras. So if we send pigeons over there, they can spy on the Australians and they can let us know if they are real or not. I don't think they are, but maybe. Just maybe. They're real.
Curious. And one last question. Can you tell me, how can I get the square root of a tree?
The square root of a tree. Okay, so first you gotta check the leaves. Okay, in the leaf, you gotta look to it really closely. You gotta put it next to your ear, and it's gonna tell you the square root of that exact tree. It's gonna talk to you.
If you ask me the funniest moment during a convention, I think it was 2 years ago when I premiered my Scarlet cosplay. It was the point is, I never told anyone about that cosplay. I just showed up, all dressed from home, and she's all covered up, she's masked and everything. Nobody knew it was me. But I didn't expect that up to 6 or 7 p.m., people that I knew, friends of mine, still were addressing to me as if I was a girl. I think that's the moment when I achieved the mastery of these guys. And it was entertaining. I could also tell you about the funniest moment I had in Denmark. It's not very related to cosplay, but it was during the last convention I attended there.
Yeah, you went to the CoreaCon, right?
Yes.
Yes, I was very ill that weekend. I was so sad. I hope you had fun at least.
Yeah, I had fun. I got together with Fabian and Jill.
Yep.
But my funniest moment wasn't with any of those. It was during there was a room completely dedicated to karaoke.
Yeah.
There was the convention took 3 days. On the second day there was a contest, but all day long, all 3 days, the karaoke was open. There were a lot of seats for people to wait for their turn or just watch the people singing. The guy at the computer had like 7 microphones. So on the first day, since I was totally new, I was just getting to know the experience. I picked one of the songs I like that I usually listen to. But I stayed there for a while waiting for my turn, and I noticed that there was a small group that during the whole time I think they got the entire discography of Quinn. So by the end of the day, I thought, these are people of culture. On the second day, I went straight to the guy at the computer and I asked him, has anyone asked you for Never Gonna Give You Up? Little did I know that as soon as they saw on the screen the name of Rick Astley, everybody was gonna get up and run for a microphone. They almost left me without a microphone, and I was the one who asked for it.
That's hilarious.
Then
But
on
that sounds very Danish, though.
By the evening of the second day, I noticed that there was one guy trying to look for a song in French. So on the last day, on Sunday, I was wondering, is there anything I could sing in Spanish? I mean, all the songs that come to mind are sung by females, so it would sound weird if I sang it. What the hell? Hey, put me Macarena. I got a few Danes in front of me dancing Macarena while I was singing. That was totally something unexpected.
I can't imagine. It's very on point. I don't know. I feel like people saying that Danes are hooligans. I feel like that's kind of true. I don't know. They're always here for a party.
Yeah, maybe since I'm from another continent, they get all Scandinavians in one sack, and everybody says that they're all very cold and very distant. That I've been in Denmark twice, and that hasn't been my experience. 100% of the Danes that I have interacted with starting from the homeless bum at the train station to the cosplayers at the convention. They've all been super nice to me.
I think that is true. So I feel like the Danes are like, a complaint I hear is that most Danes are very nice, to some point, but getting into like the friend circles and things like that can be a little bit harder. But I don't know. It's also because it seems like a lot of people really love their personal space, and unless you understand that, then it might be a little bit much. I don't know, because there's like definitely different ones. Like I feel like Danes are probably like compared to some Asian cultures where like you will see that every seat in the bus will be like no one sits next to another person if they can avoid it. Even like to the point of I would rather stand than sit next to another person on the bus. And that's kind of the thing. But then at the same time, like if you are speaking on the phone on the train or whatever, as long as you're not like trying to be a little bit mindful about it, it's fine. But I know like if you do that in Japan, you are like super rude to everyone else. So we are, I think we're in the middle ground somewhere.
You don't need to go that far. I was in
I
2 years ago. I was in Germany.
Oh yeah.
I met what you would call the German Karen on the train.
Ooh. Karen.
There were two people. It was a long trip. The first one was okay. Yes, the first one was listening to music out of his phone, and many of us could hear it. But it didn't bother me, maybe because it sounded foreign to me. It was a catchy tune. It wasn't like badly written or badly made music. Obviously, I didn't understand the lyrics or anything. But okay, that was the first time that German Karen got up and tried to scold the guy, telling him to turn that off or lower the volume.
Well, that is also a no-no in Denmark, honestly. Like, you shouldn't be putting on music around people. But I feel like most Danes would just be judging in silence. You get like the killer eyes. And then nothing would really like it's rare that people actually say something. But also like I moved to a bigger city in Denmark, so it happens more often over here.
Yeah, up to that point, it made sense. But then another lady got on that seat. The other guy had already left. And she was talking on her phone. And once again, the German Karen gets up and tells her that she is bothering everybody else. And I don't know what, because I don't speak German. I do, but very little. So at that point, I saw that it was a little exaggerated on her part.
I would like to think that she probably just had a bad day.
I think so too.
Yeah. It's not very cutesy.
No, it isn't. I have a question for all of you. What's the strangest material or the most unusual material you've used on a cosplay?
Oh, I actually showed you in person that I used cinnamon on a cosplay. I think that's probably the weirdest.
Was that a tip from Galard Cosplay?
It was not, but
No.
I watched it on TikTok. For the rest, I basically for the pyramid head mask to do like the rust, I put cinnamon on it, and then I just like painted over it or sprayed over it so it would give it like texture. and it worked out pretty well. Plus, it smelled nice the whole day. So every time someone came over to me, I was like, "Look, it even smells nice," and I would like just like lean my head towards them. They'd be like, "Oh my god, it smells like cinnamon. Why does it smell like cinnamon?" I was like, "The rust."
I'm gonna join that one because I used ground up oatmeal for rust before. And like
Grounded
mix it with the
oatmeal.
acrylic. Yeah.
That is smart.
I don't think it's that unusual, but when we have big stage plays, then we have to make props very cheaply. And we've used trash bags and also plumbing pipes. And we've been like crazy people at the home department stores.
We've had people come up to us and try to like explain like what type of plumbing types we need for like what type of like construction work, and we didn't know how to tell them that we're actually going to build like
President bars out of
them.
them, or like trees for stage shows. So every time it's a very fun interaction. Last time we left with 42 plumbing pipes, like 2-meter ones, and someone just went by us and was like, "What the heck are you doing?" Cosplay. Yeah,
I
so-
love that. That is so good. I think in general going to the building markets and like trying to explain to the worker there what you want to make and what they would suggest, and just their like fully see the brain go like, you are telling me you want to build a gun and you're looking for something that is going to build a smooth surface and what you use for that, and you're like, it's I don't know. I've stopped
It's hard
asking
to
at this
explain.
point because it's like they hear you, but it doesn't like.
I don't never like want to say what we're making out of it. I just ask for the material, and they're like, "What are you going to use it for?" I'm like, "You don't need to know what you're going to be."
You
It's
don't
not that
want
they
to
don't
know.
need to. Exactly, yeah. You don't want to know.
You're gonna get a headache. Trust me.
Oh my god. Well,
But I think it's so sad sometimes because the amount of experience like people have that could be like so useful, but because they're not used to thinking out of the box with what you can use them for, I'm like, no, let's join together and make a superpower.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so sad.
Anyone else?
well, it's not really a material, but I was cosplaying Daryl from The Walking Dead, and so I forgot to like paint like wear into the fit. So I just went into like near our con. There's like it's near the sea. So I just like walked into the sea, and then I just like rolled around in the ground. I made myself like actually just like it was real dirt. I was actually dirty. Don't worry, I didn't sit anywhere. Like, I didn't go in onto the public transport after that. But like, so that's fun.
Such realism.
The OG weathering.
Yeah.
Knovice?
For me, I mean, I think oatmeal's really the only thing I can think of. So that's gonna be my answer. Final answer, oatmeal.
Hmm.
That is a good answer though. I don't even think I can think of something right now. I've definitely used weird things and whatever is like accessible at the time because I'm very impatient. So if I don't actually have what I want to make it of, I've got to see if I can like do it of something else. But I can't remember anything where I'm like, that is unusual.
In my case, I think it's jelly, like this one.
Wouldn't that melt?
Huh? What?
Wouldn't it melt if you have it on a costume?
But I think he's using the package and not the actual jello.
Oh yeah, I'm using the package. I'm
Okay.
I'm
Yeah,
not spreading jelly on my costumes. That would be
I was like, that wins
too
for
much.
sure.
The point is that I am. It's very rare, almost never. I don't like using electronics on my cosplays, so I don't use lights or anything that requires batteries. And I was cosplaying Falco from Super Smash Bros. He's carrying a reflector that in the game it's for deflecting the projectiles of the enemies. So it looks kind of like this. And when I was once again, in Denmark, I got into the cosplay contest. So before we got on the stage, we had to go into the small room with the judges and tell them about our costumes. So I was just casually telling them everything I had made. I don't like using light, so this is a jelly, and the boots are. Wait. That's a jelly? Mm-hmm. Can you take it out? Yeah, it's not glued or anything. Yeah, it still says jelly. One of the judges was like, "Oh my god, it's actual jelly! You can eat it!"
Emergency snack if you get really hungry too.
That's what I told her. I said something like, "Yeah, I guess I could eat it in case of emergency." I have another question for all of you. Have you ever invested on a cosplay element just for the LOLs or as an inside joke?
Kind of, but
Oh yeah. I'm unsure if I know what you mean, but if you go.
Lemon?
Okay. So it's still not ready, but it's a work in progress that I'm investing just for the joke. I don't know if any of you have played Genshin, and if you know Kokomi, which is like the. So my friend started calling me the mother of tunas because she's like a fish. It's not a goddess. She's a human, but she looks like a fish goddess. And so we're like, the fish mom, and I was like, yes, the fish mom. So I am making a. She doesn't use that type of weapon in the game, but I want to make the weapon for the fish weapon they used to give in a certain event, and I want to go with her with like, I don't know if you've seen those shark onesies, but I have already bought the shark onesie. I'm just waiting for an event where it's like I'm not gonna get the onesie dirty with the little like feet. I can take that because I find it really funny that they still address me as I don't not even when I'm in cosplay, they'll just be like, oh yeah, mother of tunas, and I'm like, yes, that's me. so I think that's as far as inside jokes go for a cosplay. I think the shark onesie was the investment. I just haven't worn it yet.
That is so cute. I love that. I do actually have one as well. I will wear it with you. Tell me when and where.
I love wearing it to like sleep. It's just like it's so warm and fuzzy.
It really is. It is so nice.
My kind of an inside joke, I guess, is that I keep cosplaying birds for some reason. Like, remember the chicken on stage, right? And then I cosplayed Mordecai. And then now I'm thinking for the gag, I kind of want to build like the Duolingo suit. But I think I might get sued. But it would be funny.
I think it's not as much as for the gag, but we had a How to Train Your Dragon performance, and I usually go ham with props, buying plumbing pipes and everything. But this time it was like kind of chiller. But I was like, I need something to have like a little bit of oomph when I come on stage. And Hiccup from How to Train Your Dragon has the huge map. And I decided to make it like the night before the competition. So I was like, okay, I gotta get this done. So for the day of the competition, I came in with an empty map, and I was like, everyone backstage, come here. We have like 120 people at Baltic conventions competing. So I was like, everyone, write your name, do something on here. So the map had like a lot of things. And when I went on stage, I noticed someone had drawn a little like penis on the corner, and immediately when I got on stage I started laughing, and I was like in character but still like noticing. Yeah, it worked out well, but like noticing that when I get on stage was like, okay, nice, yeah, let's go on with the performance. So I think that's one for the gag, the map.
Anyone else?
I have one. So I bought this mug. It's kind of old me now, but the Gaslight Gatekeep Girl Boss mug to go with my Francisca Von Karma cosplay from Ace Attorney, because she is such a Gaslight Gatekeep Girl Boss. I just use it to hold pens now, so I don't actually use it as a mug, but I still like it. Was it worth $20? I don't know. I guess so.
In my case, I can think of two. Back in 2015, I didn't have any Marvel cosplays, but there was gonna be it was called a Marvel Expo. So I was sure that there was gonna be X-Men cosplayers all over the place. So the day before, I went to print a t-shirt with the logo of the Friends of Humanity, and I painted a sign that said, "No more mutants." I redid that thing this year. I got the beret just like in X-Men 97. And I put on a vest. It's not blue like in the series, but I think it works. Again, that's the cheapest cosplay I've ever had. The second one, okay, Zelda. Recently, I did a Link cosplay, but I don't have a sword, and I didn't want to go empty-handed. So I decided to cook a little something.
Yeah, I've seen you post photos of that. I love that prop so much.
I got the honor to seeing it in person and taking a picture with that, and it was so silly because at first I wasn't wearing glasses. I usually wear like glasses to see, and I wasn't wearing them because I usually don't take them to cons, or I'll take them like in my bag. And I was like, "Oh, what's that?" I was like, "That's so cute." And then I realized what it was, and I was like, "Oh my god!" It was fun. It's such a silly prop. I love it.
For those who didn't know, my Instagram account wasn't supposed to be a cosplay gallery. At the very beginning, it was meant to be a travel blog. Whenever I can, I like to travel and explore new cities and all that. So that stuck to me, and one of the things I always ask during these episodes is, what's the farthest from home you've been in cosplay?
For me, it's Austria.
Germany for me, I think.
What?
Don't commit.
Next week we are going to Spain, so that would be the farthest.
Are you going to the ICL?
Yeah.
Yay! So nice.
I'm so excited to watch next weekend.
Well, yeah, I'm pretty good friends with Alex and Aiko that are going. So
Oh,
I will be celebrating for all of you.
thank you. Yeah,
We
very
have,
excited.
we have like such big and like warm cosplays because they were made to like be wearable in winter in Latvia, and there's gonna be 30 degrees in Madrid next week. So
Oh,
if
God.
we don't come back from there, then that's why.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my god. Please bring portable fans. You're gonna need it.
Yeah.
I haven't really not been that far. I think the furthest I've been in cosplay was the Netherlands, which is basically my neighbors, so very close to.
It's the same for me, Latvia. It's my neighbors.
I think for me is the East Coast, which since the United States is so big, I think that's pretty far. Let me search. San Francisco to Boston. Let's see how many miles.
That is probably farther away than any of us.
4,000 kilometers.
Yeah.
The US is very large.
It for sure is. Yeah.
I haven't gotten the chance to travel with like cosplay yet, but I am hoping soon I will be going to some event in the US because my mom promised me she'll take me because she travels a lot for work over there. She goes a lot to Washington, and she took a little trip on the weekend to New York last time she went, and she saw like there was a convention going on near the hotel she was at, and she was like, "Hey, that's what my daughter does." And she was like, "You know what? I can take you next time I travel. You can take one of your cosplays, just one." And I was like, "Fair enough." And she was like, "And I can take you to the event because they seem really nice." And I was like, "Yay!" Because she was also the first time she was like approving of me doing cosplay, which was very sweet. So I am excited to go soon, hopefully.
Nice.
Knovice, I noticed you put a question on the private chat. What was that about?
Oh, I was asking what time the ICL starts next weekend, if you know.
5 in
5 in
Spain time
Spain,
zone,
Spain,
whatever that
EST.
is.
Yes.
Okay, that's all I need to know. Thank you so much. Perfect.
In my case, I'm sure the farthest from home I've been in cosplay, it has to be Estonia. Yeah.
Did you go to any event in Estonia, or were you just traveling for fun?
No, I went to one called Animatsuri in Tartu.
What?
Which
You
year?
were at Animatsuri?
We are the organizers, so that is crazy. That is nice to know.
Yeah.
How did you like it?
It was the entire trip in. We were both in Tallinn and Tartu. The entire trip was quite an experience. It was, the place is beautiful, the people are beautiful, and well, that was the first time I had a travel partner with me. Usually I travel alone. So my friend and I, we were both in cosplay to the Animatsuri. He was Red Hood from DC, and I was Cyrex from Mortal Kombat.
What year did you go to?
6 years ago. It's been quite some time.
Sad to say that this year was the last time for Animatsuri, so the festival has ended. But at least someone got to go from another country.
Mm-hmm. I don't know if this has a translation, but In Spanish, we say the world spins a lot. So you never know where you're gonna end up. But yes, I'm sure, because I think Stockholm is on a very similar latitude, but it's more to the west. So yes, it was Tartu. Another question. Have you ever been mistaken by another cosplayer?
Actually, one time, it was like 1 or 2 years ago, there was like a small and new convention in Latvia, and I didn't get the chance to go, but one of our teammates went, and that they had the same shirt on that Quinn is wearing right now, so like the CosEstStuudio shirt. And someone thought that I think they were also doing like a cosplay that I had done before, or I guess, or something like that. And then that person, our teammate, was mistaken for me several times during that convention, and they wrote to me after about it. And I was like, I had no idea that people in Latvia even like knew about their organization at that time. So that was kind of cool to hear that people had like recognized us in that way.
And we get mistaken for each other
Oh yeah,
every
that
day.
was cool.
At least it was for each other.
I have like the opposite experience that people never remember me. So, well, they remember me in the cosplay, but whenever they meet me out of the cosplay or in a new cosplay, they're always like, "And who are you again?" I'm not very memorable apparently. Oh, too good. I'm gonna go with the second one. Yep.
I was like the only Loki cosplayer, like Marvel Loki cosplayer back in like 2018. And that same year, two of the Animatsuri judges were Loki cosplayers. They were like both also wearing Loki and everything. And for the next 2 years, one of my close friends now thought that I was one of the judges, that I was a Scardian fraud, if anyone knows, you know.
Anyone else?
One time I sent a photo of my friend's cosplay to my mom because it came out really nicely. And she's like, "Oh, you look great, honey." So that was really embarrassing for her to mistake someone else for her own daughter.
It's happened to me.
I don't think I've ever been mistaken for another cosplayer. I've definitely I've had like my cosplays been mistaken for another character, specifically like Evelyn from KDA, because it's the Prestige edition, which isn't as known as like the normal versions of her. And since she's like blonde and in like a little golden dress, I had like 3 people ask me if I was Barbie, which was funny because I was like wearing like the claws that she has, and I was like, yeah, sure, Barbie, like with the little claws, and I was like, she would wear this, yeah.
Barbie
But
is
then
killer.
again, Barbie
We
is
know
who
this.
who she wants to be, and she can be Evelyn from KDA.
In my case, going back to Scarlet, I never knew, but I was told that some photos that were published of my Scarlet cosplay, a lady was getting tagged on those photos of me because they thought it was her instead of me. The opposite also occurred way before, when I premiered my cosplay of the Mask. Since I didn't tell anyone, there was no way for me to know that another guy was bringing his cosplay of the mask for the first time as well. So on that occasion, it was me who was getting tagged in photos and videos of cosplayers that wasn't me. And that's how things were. I only wore the mask once. I didn't like the costume, but I like the character, and I wouldn't be against cosplaying the mask again sometime in the future. One more question. Have you ever arrived at a convention just to realize you're missing a piece of your cosplay?
Yes. Luckily, this wasn't a competition costume, but I made Star Guardian Jinx when she first came out, so that's quite a while ago. And I was like crunching to get it done, because at that time I would even crunch just to get cosplays done for like just wearing them at the con. Not doing that anymore. We only crunch for competitions now. But then I realized when I get there, because I was like, it's called Gomor, which is basically like the Danish version of I can't even remember the word, but you know, a person is like, I'm driving this distance, anyone wants to join, and then you can like pay to join the trip. And it was like basically across the country for me. So I got that. That was cheaper than public transportation. And then when I arrived there, I was like missing the huge ass star she has right in front of her, and I was sad. I was even like calling the guy, be like, "Do you have it? I'm so sorry." We didn't find it until later. I had dropped it in public at my home, so that was really lovely.
I think I've had this happen to me like so many times at this point. It's embarrassing because the Baltics are like really small countries. We have like one convention in Estonia right now happening twice a year. So we go over to Latvia all the time. And for the first time when I was competing, I left, like I was doing Jolene Cujo, and she has this like heart with a butterfly on her costume, and it was made out of foam. It was really nice, and I left it at home on my table. My mother like sent a picture of it and was like, "Hey, do you not need this?" I was like, "Oh, I need it." So I had to make it out of cardboard, and
It was not cardboard. It was actually like, you know, these like maps where you can like put papers in between.
yeah, it's like
and then,
kind of cardboardy, but still like plastic.
like plastic / cardboard thing. Really hard to cut with scissors, as we found out.
And we made it like before, and I painted it for some stupid reason the next morning before pre-judge. So I was like begging in pre-judge that they don't touch my like chest piece, because it was like kind of wet still and not painted with acrylic because we didn't have paints with us. We bought like wash paints that are like the kids' paints basically. So it was awful. And actually, for the ICL qualifiers last winter, I left all my straps for I have like hand armor, and all the straps that strap them onto my hands, I left them at home. So I had to do like DIY out of like some kind of thread that I had like. But it turned out pretty okay. That wasn't the worst case. We got to go to the store, and I got everything that I needed. But that was also like a moment, because like that partner couldn't have gone on. So yeah.
Anyone else?
For me, it's like basically tradition at this point to leave something at my house when I go to conventions. Every single time I leave something, even if it's like the tiniest thing, I will always leave something behind. I think what I got like the saddest about having left something was when I first took Kokumi to a convention, and she has this like really nice choker, and I was like so excited about it because it was just everything. It had like such cute little details, and when I get to my boyfriend's house, we can go to the event. he's like, "Hey, I think your cosplay's missing something, isn't it?" And I like look at myself in the mirror, and I go like, "Not again." I left it, and I was very sad about it, and I think that's the one that has gotten me like the saddest in leaving. But for the contest I was in, um, I was doing ABA from Guilty Gear, and she wears a little key in like her skirt. So I 3D printed the key like basically the day before, but it was ready, and I had some stuff in the car that I had to put on when I got there, including that key. I get there, I go to get like my cosplay checked and like for everything for like the jury, and then I'm like, and then there's the and like the moment I look down to explain like the key, I'm like, I left the key in the car. It wasn't even far away, but like it was so embarrassing that I was like, I brought everything, but I didn't wear everything because it was in the car, and then I was too lazy to get it, so I didn't wear it for the rest of the day.
Anyone else?
One time I completely forgot to just pack a bra, so I had to borrow a friend's, and that was really embarrassing to have to ask to borrow. Yeah,
Unexpected.
yeah, but technically nothing visible on a costume, I guess.
I have a thing of like, so Animatsuri is like the Tartu con, I guess. That was in Tartu, and I live in Tartu. And for some reason, every time I go to like Tallinn cons, I go to Latvian cons. I bring everything. I am like so good at like not forgetting. And when it's my own hometown's like con, it's like my brain just like short circuits or something. It's just
Curious. Speaking of Tartu, that's my Cyrax in Animatsuri.
Now that I remember, because that was my first convention ever, and you were there. So 6 years ago was my first convention, and that was Animatsuri. And yeah, wow, this is crazy.
I was gonna say that I actually remember that cosplay.
Yeah, I think they gave me the sponsor's favorite. It was like a bag full of merchandise. And I try to behave. I try to be to every country that I travel. I try to at least learn a few words before I get there. I know that the only thing I know how to say in Danish is "Jeg taler ikke dansk." But
Which is all you need, really.
Sorry?
Which is all you need, really.
Yeah, I noticed. And since I was, as I was saying, to Estonia was the first time I had a travel companion. He wasn't as mindful as me, so I saw him like almost kicking the door in and asking for things in English. And some people actually are not that good at English. So
I think like in Estonia the struggle isn't that big with organizations, but in the last years we have a really big like Russian Ukrainian population. It has gotten a lot harder to speak like Estonian at conventions to organizers because most of them don't know it. Because we have like one convention left now. Animatsuri was like a fully Estonian convention, but the one convention left, they have a lot of people that don't speak Estonian. So now it's all English. Everyone needs to know it, basically.
Good to
That
know.
is so nice. I would love to experience more European cons. So hook me up. I will
Like,
come and
Unicon
say.
in Latvia is
Oh,
huge.
well,
and
I actually know Danny, so he's invited me a couple of times.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, definitely recommend. They are very different. In this,
competition-wise, I think Baltic conventions like Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania are very different because the emphasis on performance is, I guess, much bigger here than in the rest of the world.
we don't have walk-ons.
No, like
any
even if
walk-ons.
you're competing in craftsmanship's category, you still
None of
have
them?
a
None.
minute-long performance.
I know, like we have masquerades. That is a whole different category. That is, you don't have a prejudge, but all competitions with qualifiers and just for like solo placements, you have to do a little performance.
I love it.
I love that.
I also
Is it
do.
open for people who is not like?
Yeah, we have international prizes. That's the best part. Like we really want people from other countries, and we have a special prize called the International Cosplay Prize at Unicon. And yeah, it's open for anyone. I don't know any con that doesn't let other country people in Baltics.
Well, that is pretty cool because, like, in Denmark, it's basically dying at the moment. It's really, really sad. We have like one con left that actually has like a proper cosplay show. They just opened quite a few smaller ones that do catwalks because that is easy to do as a small convention. But it's super fucking sad because I prefer to do skits. I don't necessarily like catwalks because I get bored easily. So, so that would be hella cool to come and do that. I love doing the skits. That is like
Also, like we have so many performers that it's crazy that they still let us do like performances. We have the average con has 120 cosplay performances, and all of them are performances.
Yeah.
So it's insane.
I love
okay.
Yeah.
That sounds so good. I have
Ours
to
do, like,
go.
20
I want to see
max.
that.
I will
They
drop
like
the link
cut it off.
in the chat afterwards. Like we have live streams and everything of that.
Yeah, I love being a Baltic
Nice,
cosplayer for
please.
that reason because like making your costume and going on stage with it and getting charged is like fun on its own, but like getting to perform with it in front of an audience like adds like a whole new flavor and a whole new thing to it.
Yeah.
So I love it.
You
Absolutely.
got my attention
I'm
there.
also absolutely, yeah, because I do crafting and I do love watching what I can make, but I hate crafting. If I have to be completely honest about it, I actually hate crafting. But I love being on stage and I love the performance part. So that would be like hella awesome. Also, it just sounds really, really cool. I think like we have the DCC coming up, the Danish cosplay competition in the February, and they're gonna open for people to apply. And I know it's gonna be one of those where you have to be like straight on time, ready with everything, because everyone is so hungry to go on stage at the moment because all the places have been closing down. So it's like everyone is just trying to claw their way in, and I think it's tops like Knovice said, we have like I think 25 maybe rooms. It's really, really sad. Actually, a lot of Danish cosplayers has begun to look outside of Denmark now because we need more places to go.
I need more places to go, but I don't have the budget.
Well, me neither.
Last year, I went to England and I went to a Comic Con there. They have like one Comic Con every 3 weeks during the whole year. But on the specific one I went to, the cosplay contest was a masquerade. So you just had to go up on the stage and that was it. There, they were judging all categories: craftsmanship, performance, under 16, and I think there was a prize for the spirit of cosplay, something like that.
I like that.
I don't remember the exact name, but I think there was a similar category at the WCS, which, by the way, this year was won by our team.
That is really
It was
nice.
something like that. The spirit of cosplay, or I'm not an expert at that.
Who is
yes.
holding out on the dog? I need to see the dog.
It may or may not be me.
Not me.
Well,
I
it stopped
think-
barking now.
Yeah, it was me.
Okay.
She is my gorgeous little puppy. No, she's like huge, but she's still a puppy to me. I absolutely adore her, but she is very loud. She's like downstairs, and she still sounds from here. She loves fighting like through the window. Like a dog goes next to her, and she's terrified. But like if she's from like her safe place, she will bark at it all day.
Oh, I have a German Shepherd, so I know exactly that feeling. If you can hear like the rattling of you know, the leash and a collar from outside, he will also be barking from my apartment. Sorry, that took a detour. But animals, though.
I have a pet cat, but she's in the main house. I'm at a studio here, completely isolated. So I don't have any pets here.
Sad.
Not sad, it's just private. Another question. Have you ever arrived at a convention and found a cosplay you wouldn't have thought someone would even conceive to do and left you impacted?
I have an answer. This cosplay lives in my head rent free. So one person was Indiana Jones. Their friend was just a giant circle, like sphere that was painted gray. And they would just run around the convention, and the ball would chase the Indiana Jones. And every time you saw them, it just cracked me up. I loved it so much. So that's my answer.
Clever.
I think first of all I want to say the KFC cosplay, because like it was just such a genius cosplay from our friend, and the chicken added to it a lot, Loki. But also I think we have to bring out our cosplay, because it was such a like spontaneous project, because we have a category called cosplay dance in the Baltics, because we have a lot of like idol performances. That's the thing with having a performance category, you will get a lot of like, oh, I'm gonna do idol dance. But we were like, okay, we have a hip hop background, we know how to dance. Let's do the chipmunks with hip hop. So we did Alvin and the Chipmunks, and we actually got second place. So it was like really stupid. We were screaming, "Give me nuts!" the whole convention. I think they screamed it in some kid's face. It was like 30 degrees. I was having a heat stroke at that point. I was like,
So many people asked for photos with us for some reason.
yeah.
And it was like we did not expect this at all, because like literally the day before or the day after, I can't remember, we were wearing like handmade, really beautiful like cosplays, and like the chipmunks got all of the attention.
Yeah.
And, like,
So yeah, that was a stupid but great cosplay. And now I'm seeing it all over TikTok for a Halloween cosplay plan. So I'm like, we did it first. Yeah.
Anyone else?
I remember Viro doing one of the summonings from Final Fantasy X, which was like insane in my head. It was so beautiful. And I didn't think that was gonna be possible.
Well, for me, like seeing, which is not like mind-boggling cosplay, and I don't know, maybe other conventions from like other countries, you have more of those cosplays, but Naruto for me, we don't have that many Naruto cosplayers or something like in Estonia specifically. In Latvia, I might see them. So all of my friends are already like so tired of me like tweaking every time I see a Naruto cosplayer. I will like go crazy. I will be like, because I usually don't take photos that much during cons, but I will always take them with a Naruto cosplayer. And also like smaller shows, or like not smaller shows, but shows that you don't usually see cosplays from. For example, like Breaking Bad, like Heisenberg or something, or like I don't know, it's like very niche cosplays to do that aren't that hard, but I always like it makes me smile.
Someone from I think Latvia or Estonia. I'm not sure. I think
Latvia.
Latvia. Someone has cosplayed Joost Klein for like the two previous conventions in Latvia and Estonia, and like at Unicon in August last month, they did like such a wonderful performance. I think it was a non-contest performance.
it
It
was
was
a
like an opener
special
for the
act.
day, but they did like the whole Eurovision performance, and that was so great to see. They looked so accurate.
It was crazy.
That
I would
was
go absolutely crazy seeing that. I absolutely love his music. Ever since I saw him in Eurovision, I would cry like on the spot.
So like the performance, everything was so accurate. I have to also drop that link.
They
Maybe.
even had like we
Please
had this,
do.
like LED screen in the background for cosplayers, and they even had like the
Actual visual.
the actual
Yeah.
visuals that they had, and also like the Eurovision, like this I don't know intro for songs.
Oh yeah,
And
that's how the day started. So yeah, that was a crazy day.
For me, I think like the cosplay that I have been like the most excited to see. It wasn't like something like wow, it's like such a complex thing, but it was like it healed my inner child because I saw this girl dressed as Ichigo from Tokyo Mew, and I was about to start crying. Like Tokyo Mew was my favorite anime when I was a kid, which was when you mentioned the performance of Ichigo and Kishu, the alien guy. I was like, I would have loved seeing that. I love Tokyo Mew, and seeing this girl dressed as Ichigo was like I was so happy because I have the Sakuro cosplay, which is like the wolf girl, and I've always wanted to like tell friends like, hey, I know you guys didn't watch that when you were kids, but like, don't you want to dress up with me, please, pretty please? But yeah, so I think that was one of like the most exciting moments. And then I also saw another girl. I didn't see her in person, but I saw this girl that was also from the country, and she was also wearing a Sakura cosplay, and I also got really excited about that. I have a huge hyperfixation on it, so yeah.
So this is the only convention in Estonia right now.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, ton. But we have smaller events. We do like community events with CosEstStuudio. That's like the whole point of our organization, because the Estonian cosplay community has gotten so big, but they don't have events. So we have a winter ball coming up, a cosplay ball, and 15th of February. So it has a lot of performances, fun games, bonding activities, and we also have picnics every summer where cosplayers just come together. We have some pre-planned games and everything like that. So yeah,
A
So you're
cosplay ball
like
sounds like
filling out the need for more activities related to cosplay.
yeah, because conventions are fun, but it's mostly about competing in the Baltics. They don't have like a lot of panels and stuff like that. So we have like workshops and everything like that. We invite guests that are like well-known cosplayers, and we're like, oh, a 3-hour workshop, or like Yap Nation with them, like just yapping and talking. And also like we do like fun game nights or stuff like that. So yeah.
That sounds so nice. I'm actually looking into doing something similar in Denmark at the moment, because when I'm not competing, or if there is not like a cosplay show, I often feel like you get to the con and then like a couple of hours later, like if it weren't for my friends, I wouldn't have anything to do. So I'm kind of like looking into trying to make like events and things like that for the con, to try and have like more of something that can like bring people together and also activate people and hopefully socializing. We almost have like we do have a Danish word for it, but basically like giving challenges throughout the con.
Oh, that's a
So
really cool thing. Yeah.
yeah, well, I would love to like brainstorm with you guys at some point and hear what you're
Yeah, let's
doing and
sit
things like
down.
that.
We've been doing it for 2 years now. We
Ooh.
started in 2022, and it's gotten like huge. It was 4 people for the team at first. We did like small picnics, but now like the winter ball that we do every winter, it has a team of 50 people, and they're all cosplayers. So it's really cool to have like cosplayers, from fans to fans type of events. That's our
That is so cool.
So yeah,
I
CosEstStuudio.
would absolutely love to hear more about it. It sounds like a really good way as well to bring the community together in different ways.
It is the Estonian cosplay community. Even though there's so many of us, I feel like we're so like close in a way, because I never see like in like cons, when I see like the performance list of 120 people, like I know most of them, like at least like by name or by Instagram, because like we see each other so much at like different events and like on social media, and I feel like that has really helped.
The reason of the existence of this show is because once I was at an event with nothing to do. So I decided to pick up my camera and start interviewing random cosplayers with random questions, just like I did with you.
Nice. Well, it's as much as like as much as I'm hoping it will like bring people together, and like even I remember being like the new person at a con and being like not really knowing people and things like that. It's not as hard to get things to happen anymore, because you walk 2 steps and then you meet someone, and then you meet someone new, and you like barely get to talk to people because all your friends are here now. But I do remember the time where it was like, okay, now I've seen everything, I don't know what to do. And I like
The
I would
famous tour of 15 minutes.
Huh?
The famous 15-minute tour.
Yeah, exactly. But it's like I'm really hoping I could like create a platform for people to meet each other and make friends, but also because I think it would be like so much fun for me as well to walk around and like be like, hey, go do this, let's go and look at the artist alley, woo. Go and find these stickers, take a photo with the artist, tell them what's good about it, I don't know, bring some positivity. I think that could be like so cool.
One thing is connecting, and the other thing that I see with like these types of communities in countries is that they help each other a lot, because we like share patterns that we made, or like everything like that. That's like the greatest part. You're like, oh, I need foam, I don't have time to order it. Does anybody have any excess that I can like get off you and maybe like buy you a new one later? And that's like the greatest thing that we've seen improve, I think, with the community especially.
Yeah.
That sounds really, really awesome.
Indeed.
Do you think that like Costa Rican community is like really close knit? Because I've seen like very varying like perspectives on it. Like I'm a person that personally thinks like everyone seems like so in their own little groups, which was very hard for me when I started cosplaying, because I was like, everyone looks like they're in their own little groups. I felt like in high school. But do you think it's like that, or do you actually think like they're really close, like at least in the country?
I feel like there definitely are groups in Estonia, but it's never in a negative way, because I feel like when I first started cosplay, I was also like not belonging in any group. I had my friends who were like also just starting out, so I guess we formed this little group like between us. But I never get this vibe from like these other groups that we don't want to like communicate with you, or we don't want anything to do with you. They're always like really nice, and they always like invite people to talk to them. Like everyone at cons, when I go to talk to someone, I'm like invited into like a bigger talking circle or like introduced to new people. And I feel like if you just like find the courage in yourself at cons to go and talk to someone new, then you will also be introduced to like new people and like being like brought into these friend groups and like little smaller groups yourself. So
I think the smaller cosplayers, I have like a lot of workshops at my place. People just come to my place and they're like, "Oh, how do I do this?" And I'm like, "Oh, I can help you with that." And the people like call me like, "Oh, you are doing Bring Your Child to Work Day at the convention." So I take like someone with me to a new group, and I'm like, "Oh, you two would get along. Now chat," and I go away. So
That is so
Matchmaking.
wholesome.
Yeah, it is really, really wholesome. I think it's the same thing in Denmark as well, because like there is definitely groups. I think for the most counts, it's more of the fact that people are socially awkward, so they like to stick with the people they know, but they're always very welcoming if you dare to go and talk to them. And that's like most of the things I see, because I've been in the competition sphere for a while now, that there's definitely like a circle of people that compete that is like not necessarily one big group altogether. It's definitely like smaller groups, but it's often the same people competing, so everyone is like really familiar with each other in a way, but also very welcoming whenever new people start to join. And I think that's probably like the biggest disconnect is between the people who have been like competing for a while now and the massive group of 16 years old that is just getting into cosplay, that is like super excited about it. And it's not because that these veterans doesn't want to talk with these guys, it's just like they are at a different place in their cosplay experience at this time.
I was once that 16-year-old very excited to do cosplay. Yeah, it's scary. I think that's one of the reasons why I feel like the community is very very far apart. It's also because of that I deal with a lot of social anxiety. So just thinking of going up to a cosplayer and being like, "Hey, your cosplay is really cool," just it gives me so much anxiety that I like. If I want a picture with someone, I'll go to like the friend that's the closest to me. I'll be like, "Can you ask like them for a picture for me, please?" And because but yeah, and I feel like that's also what has given me that perspective on the community. It's nice when people do like that, when you go like to someone and they're like, "Hey, these are my friends, you should meet them, I think you'd like them," because it helps out a lot. It's what ended up letting me know people in the community.
Absolutely. I feel I use my anxiety to fuel my mask that looks like I'm an extrovert. So I'm always like, no, I can't say that to them. I can't go up to them. I cannot, whatever. And then all of that anxious energy in me just explodes out. So everyone is like, oh my God, Aya, you're so extroverted. You're so confident. I'm like, nope, that's my anxiety. I'm just fueling it towards being really awkward on top of other people. And then everyone is like, are you not embarrassed? Like, I would be so embarrassed to do that. It's so cool that you get to do that. And I'm like, yeah, all the time. I just do it anyway. So go live it. Put your anxiety gives a lot of energy. Just fuel it towards being awkward with all of us, because we are basically just awkward social beings anyway. And everyone, like, I even think like I've never met someone who was not excited about getting their photo taken. Like, I think that's one of the biggest compliments. So if you want to take the photo, I like everyone gets so excited.
Once
It's just
I had a
yeah,
friend.
go.
Once I had a friend who told me, I want a picture with that guy. So I went up to that guy and told him, hey, she wants a picture with you. No, why did you tell me?
Yeah, I'm also that friend at times.
Ah.
it works kind of the other way as well. When you have a friend that someone wants to take a photo of you, but they don't want to ask that friend because they look like too scary or too mean. So that person who wants to take a photo with your friend comes and asks you really quietly, hey, can you ask your friend if I can take a photo with them? Like, we have one friend in our group that is always doing like, he looks scary. I guess he just looks scary in a way to some people. And like every time when he's wearing like some specific type of like scary dude villain cosplay,
He
then-
has a Darby cosplay that's like viral. Like,
oh yeah. And like I think it has happened to me like several times at one single convention, like in backstage, that someone comes up to me and says, "Hey, can you ask your friend if like I can take a photo with them?" Because yeah, that works that way as well.
yeah.
That is kind of cute, though. I really like that. But I'm just happy that people does it anyway.
Another question for everyone. What is your favorite thing about cosplay?
You know this, Dumas. The community.
I think for me, it's like I've always loved Halloween since I was like a little kid. I would like always be like, every chance I got to dress up, I was like, Mom, let's do this really complex little princess costume for me. She'd be like, I am so tired of this. And I was like, please. So I ended up, then I found out that cosplay was a thing. I found out about it until like 2020 in the pandemic, when I saw like, I don't know if you guys remember when like Danganronpa was really trending with like the TikTok community. And I was like, oh my god, I can dress up as them at my house. And then I found out that there were like events, and I was like, I can dress up as them outside my house, which was just, it was really exciting. I think what excites me the most is like getting to dress up as like characters I admire, just like I really like their designs and stuff. It gives me a confidence boost on my like appearance whenever I get to do like silly little makeup and put on a little wig and everything, which is why I put on a wig, even though like I didn't know if you guys were gonna be in cosplay, but I was like, why not? I ended up quitting the pigtails because they were pulling the wig back even further. So
I was thinking of it. I was like half ready. I was like,
oh,
Oh, you should.
next time we'll all come dressed up.
yeah. No, it's
Lem0n.
literally as you explained it.
Lem0n, let's plan a trip to Estonia.
Sounds good. I like
Yes.
that idea.
Yeah.
Yes.
One of
Definitely.
us. One.
I've always wanted to travel. I've never traveled. The only place I've traveled is like the States, which is like not that far away compared to like Estonia, and Panama, which is like my neighboring country. So it would be nice to get to know more of the world. I think it's always such a beautiful experience to travel.
It's eye-opening.
Estonia is very cold, so like a lot of jackets and.
Oh, I love the cold. I have a lot of allergies, and for some reason the heat boosts those allergies. So every time I'm in a cold place, I'm like, this is perfect and this is beautiful, and I love
I
it.
can breathe. Uh,
Usually I travel in November because that's when my birthday is. So whenever I get to Europe, it's always temperatures of 1 digit, which I love.
I've never been to like a place that cold, because like the only place I've gone is like I don't think I've gone to like every time I go to the States, like the southern states. Well, I went to Seattle, but I went to Seattle in the summer, so still it's very hot. I've never seen snow,
I've never seen snow.
and it's like my dream. I know people. Oh, every time I tell people about this that live and deal with snow, they're like, "It sucks, man," and I'm like, "But I wanna."
We have
the
way
other
too
day I
much
was
of
in a-
it.
I was shopping for the cosplay stuff, and I found like the little things that you use to like make snowballs in like shapes, and I was like, first of all, why is this in the country? What practical use would it have? And second of all, I want this, and I want to go somewhere with snow, and I want to try it. It sounds like a fun experience.
well, snow is really nice to look at.
I feel like snow is only like pretty and fun when it has like just fallen down, when it's like fresh. But when it's like January or February and you're in the city where like the cars are driving and people are walking, it's all gonna freeze. The streets are going to be like straight up just ice. You could like go to school or to work with like skates on.
Oh
It's
yeah,
also
those
going to
days.
be like really dirty and like clumped together and like
Oh, Estonian
rock hard.
TikTok on those days when it's like kind of at the melting point. It was like warmer during the night, and then during the day it was colder, so it froze over. We had like whole TikToks of people actually putting skates on and going skating on the street, and you're like, how is this normal? Like, how is this acceptable? And we don't
That
have.
sounds so fun, though. I love ice skating. There's like an ice skating place here, and you can't really go unless you like are invited by someone else to the place, or if you have like a membership. And my auntie had a membership, and she was like, "Do you want to learn how to ice skate? I know you like skating a lot, like with normal skates." And I was like, "This is a dream come true." And it was so fun. I am so surprised I did not fall on my face in the most embarrassing way possible. Because
Well,
I
it's
usually fall on my face walking. but miracles happened and I did not fall with the skates.
good job.
We have to get like a winter type of con going in Estonia, so then you could come over when it's like snowing and everything. We could take you skiing or something.
I finally achieved the Yuri on Ice dream, and
Yeah,
I
yeah,
make
yeah,
the movie myself.
Winter convention for guests, like judges coming in from like Italy, are like they're always like, "Oh, it's so cool! Yeah, you have a winter convention, but winter convention for a performer and a competitor." Like we planned our like winter costumes, knowing that it's going to be so cold getting to the venue, so we have to have like warm costumes. And now we're going to Spain with those costumes, so like
It didn't really work out.
it didn't really work out.
Actually, I have seen snow, but it was for one day. Back when I was in Germany, when I was telling you that I went to Germany, on the day that I had to return to the airport, I had to go outside at 4 a.m. to get in time for my flight. And I started noticing that every car had a white windshield, and at the distance I could see the rain falling in slow motion. Then when I was getting close to the airport, I needed to cross a bridge to get out of the street and into the parking lot of the airport. The bridge was white, except that it wasn't, because the person walking ahead of me was leaving footprints. Oh, so this bridge isn't white.
I think it's the most like magical feeling to see like the first snowflakes falling. That is like rain in slow motion, and that is like like magical. It just feels so like out of this world experience, and then you get used to it.
I can't even like imagine what it would be like to see snow for the first time, because like you just like you're birthed into it in Estonia. You're just like your mother will leave you out in the carriage while it's snowing. Like that's like how it works.
The
So,
same in Denmark.
yeah.
But I don't know, like I get it a little bit because every year, the first couple of times it snows, I get like this childish excitement, and then you have to live with it, and then you're like, go away, snow, please.
Knovice, I
So,
see
yeah.
that you have a limited time here. I have one last question for everybody. If you could choose one person who would accept being on this show, who would it be?
Okay, I'll answer first. I think their name is Luluco on Instagram, because we've done performances together, and they're a professional yapper, so they can yap.
Send me the username so I can find I can find the correct one.
I feel like you are close to having interviewed all the Danes. So
I told you, 100% of the Danes are super nice to me. What can I do?
we are also pretty much certified yappers.
No, there was one person who had accepted the invitation, but she had to cancel, so she has still not been here. Right now, I
Oh.
forgot her her username. Started with an A.
That can be a lot of people, including me, basically. So
The worst part of that is that I might not be pronouncing it right, even if I saw it.
oh,
I think it's no. No, I forget.
Okay, I have to run. Thank you so much, Diamond.
Yeah.
It was so lovely meeting you all. I hope I can
so cool.
meet you at a con
How
in
did you feel?
Estonia or somewhere else. How do I feel? I feel good. This is really fun.
Great.
All right, bye guys.
Bye.
Bye.
See you. I started asking how people felt because when I started this, people were afraid of me. I have evidence, graphic evidence of people running away from me in terror. I could see the horror in their eyes.
How?
That
I am
why?
having met you in person and just knowing you're such a lovely person. How are people afraid of you? Wait, maybe with like the mime makeup. I know people are afraid of clowns and mimes, so maybe that's like the only possible way I can imagine somebody being like scared of you.
Was it when you were interviewing them?
Sorry?
What was it when it was it when you were interviewing them? Were they afraid of like speaking camera, you know?
I think they were afraid of the questions themselves because at that time I asked many people who didn't even know what they were dressed as, or didn't know their character. So I asked a simple question like, "What does he do? What's that about?" And they don't know.
I think we have like a lot of people in the Baltics that would enjoy these interviews. Definitely gonna drop some names afterwards. But one is the KFC cosplayer that we talked so much about. Ted is not blue.
Oh no.
They are like a drag artist also, and they would like thrive in this environment.
But they would dock you to death in the nicest way possible.
Okay. Same thing. Send me the username so that I can find the correct person. Yeah. What about someone outside of Denmark?
Well, I don't actually know that many international cosplayers. So yeah, I unfortunately haven't cosplayed that much outside of Denmark. So I don't have that many contacts.
Okay. No worries. Lem0n?
I was thinking, and I do not know his username, but there was this guy at the last event, and I know I follow him, so I can look him up on Instagram once we're done with this. But he was dressed up as one of the characters from Warhammer, and I was very much in shock when I saw it. I was like, oh my god, that is majestic, and I want to work on an armor like soon. So I remember I was like doing the little line for like waiting to get checked, and I was like, I like told my boyfriend I was like waiting with me in the line. I was like, look at him. And I just see him go straight up and ask him, like, where did you get your materials for your cosplay? We're looking to make an armor as well. And apparently he was really nice. I didn't get to talk to him, but he makes really cool things. So I think he should get the chance to be in here. I'll look him up later.
Okay. Sounds good.
Also, an interesting person that I think would be very fun on this show is a Latvian cosplayer that is the organizer and basically the starter of the Baltic performance category, and that all the conventions have become like this. Leo Frey, they're an incredible cosplayer, and they have been the cosplay coordinator for the Latvian Comic Con Unicon then for 10 years, and I think they would be a great person. They're very good at talking about it as well.
All right. I think this chat is gonna get lost, so it would be better if you send me the username via Instagram. Once I had a guest who gave me a suggestion for this show, because on the first episodes I had many yes/no questions. So if the answer was no, that was the end of it, and there was no continuation. So one of the guests suggested me to ask a series of yes/no questions altogether. For example, number one would be, can you use a sewing machine?
Yes.
Everybody can. I have one that kind of looks like a stapler. It's portable. Number two, have you made armors?
Not yet.
Not yet. In progress. But you
Yes.
had made a huge ass key.
Yes.
What's that made
Yeah,
of?
It is made of foam, more foam, more foam, a PVC tube, more foam. Did I mention foam? And 3D printed eyes so they could move. We didn't get the mechanism to work for the day, but it's really funny. My boyfriend's parents are locksmiths, so they have it in the place where they work at as like a little prop. Since it's like almost Halloween, they just have it there, like laying around. It just chills there. It's part
it a
of the
Keyblade?
business now.
Is it a Keyblade?
It's no, it's like an actual key. Like it's just a huge key. It's Paracelsus. It's his name. He is my husband. It's the character's husband, but I went around to people and I was like, "This is my husband." Clearly, the key. Which is really funny. I got to do like little blush on him, and that was just really silly because he looks like really crazy with his little eyes, but he just looks silly because he's blushing.
I need to play more of Guilty Gear. I had like
You totally should, and you should join the little group thing we have going on for God knows when because we can't get it organized.
I got into the open beta for the 3 versus 3 thing, but I didn't really get how to play.
I am terrible at it. I play it. I am not good at it, but that's the fun part. I also started learning to play Mortal Kombat recently, and I remember seeing the characters, and I was like, "That's Dimas right there."
I'm not sure if I have one of my recent Mortal Kombat cosplays at hand. Doesn't matter. Next question would be, do you like acting?
Yes, very much so.
My
Haven't got the
people are
chance to do
here.
much.
Number 4 would be, have you used your own hair for cosplay?
Unfortunately, so yes.
I think we all have at some point. By the way, this is not my real hair. That's MK1's Johnny Cage. I don't have the side by side, but I try to imitate as close as I can to what's in the game. Number 5 would be, if a ninja falls off a tree and there's no one around to hear it, does it still make a sound?
He has to do a dexterity roll for that one. So it depends on what he lands.
It's relative.
The answer to that would be that there is no sound technically. There's just vibrations, but there's no receiving end if no one is there to actually hear the sound. So no sound. Proven false.
Do the rest of you agree?
This is such a hard question. I agree with Loki, I think. It doesn't make a sound. That's a curse. But yeah. Probably no sound. Still.
It's a ninja. This is from MK11. That's my Scarlet. That's when people thought that I was actually a girl. And as you can see next to me, here's my masterpiece.
Is that the Mona Lisa?
Close enough. I think it's a self-portrait.
Beautiful, very artistic.
Indeed. Question number 6 would be, if I own 2 pink giraffes, would I be forced to take harmonica lessons?
Yes.
For the sake of not agreeing, no. Even though I don't understand it.
Here's the thing, if you have 2 pink giraffes, you're gonna need to entertain them, and the harmonica is the perfect thing to entertain
Right.
2 pink giraffes.
Oh, but if there was 3, would you need 2 harmonicas?
No, you need a bigger instrument, I think.
All right, okay.
Number 7 says, if you were forest psychologist, would you practice vegetarianism?
No.
No, I would eat meat only then.
Yeah, you can't eat your friends, right?
Exactly.
Exactly.
This one has been up to discussion, but do you think Kirby has any teeth?
I hope not.
Oh gosh, I also hope not.
How big is that dog?
Well, pretty big.
Can you ride it?
Well, close to. But I don't think
What's
his
its
back would be
name?
able to. Theodore.
Theodore.
He's all over the place right now.
Hmm.
Cutie. Okay, we bring the snacks out.
No, it's snack time.
Yeah.
Number 9 says, have you ever been interviewed by a cosplayer other than me?
Yes, actually.
Yes.
After a competition, there was one.
I think after a competition, and
Yeah,
also for a Estonian like magazine. One of the Estonian cosplayers that's pretty big is actually a like writer for that magazine, and they interviewed me, so that was really cool. Got to talk for like 30 minutes about Minecraft.
Hey! Nice.
Number 10 says, and this is the last one, have you ever encountered someone dressed as the same character as you?
Yes.
Yes!
Yes.
Then
And
you go
it's
and
always
be
for me
super
mandatory
awkward and be
to.
like, yay!
It's mandatory for me to ask them if we can do the Spider-Man meme. If
Yeah,
it's-
I
Same,
just
same. Thank
exactly.
you.
It's cosplay etiquette by this point. If you see someone with the same costume, you gotta go.
Before the Spider-Man meme, I had a different approach with my mirror matches. Let me show you a picture here. That was on the pre-Spider-Man era.
Very cutesy, very demure.
I have a lot of surreal questions on my script that I didn't ask you, but they're not yes/no questions. They're kind of more complex. The reason why I don't know if you noticed, but I made a logo that kind of resembles a deer for the irrelevant interviews. That's because during my very first offline interviews, I always asked, could you tell me what's the price of 1 kilogram of deer feathers? And that kind of stuck. So I made it into a logo.
What's the silliest answer you've gotten to that question?
I've got a wide range of answers, like simple things like, around 50 euros. Or just a serious answer of, but the deers don't have feathers. And there have been more. They've made like a scientific study calculating. I myself have answered that question on the stage during my Batman cosplay. There was supposed to be a riddle from the Riddler. So me and Robin, we found a riddle, and it said the exact same question. What's the price of 1 kilogram of deer feathers? So I said, and this is based on all the answers that I've received in the past. We need to consider the geography. How close are we from a large population of feathered deers? This very point is the place where it would be the most expensive, because they are the rarest here. That's why the Joker, the Riddler, hid his bounty here. That's the most logical question.
These questions are really like Mad Hatter asking, why is a raven like a writing desk? It's like the exact same font.
I was just thinking that exact same thing.
Yeah, kind of. Those are the type of characters that I like, because they're so witty, and in the real world I have a hard time coming up with improvised answers. So that's kind of helping get something to get out of the way. There used to be a YouTube series called Ask a Ninja. And there was one video where he was receiving a series of questions. One of them was, what's the circumference of a moose? And then he started doing some calculations and multiplying it by some inanimate objects, not necessarily numbers. But those are the kind of witty answers that I like, because that's what I'm lacking. I love performing on the stage, but if something goes wrong, I have to think fast. So I need to train myself on that. And I've been trying to, in fact, in October, I have there will be an event where I'm gonna give a workshop about performing for cosplay. And that's one of the topics I want to touch. What to do if you drop something, for example, that wasn't supposed to fall on the floor. Do you really need it? Can it stay on the ground? Are you able to? How would your character pick it up? Things like that.
You gotta send me the info to that event. I'd like to see the workshop.
Is Shoni Fest the first day? 12th,
I'll look them up.
October 12th.
Oh, great! I think the event I'm going that same week is the 13th, so it should line up perfectly.
Yeah, I'm gonna get started with a very old skit of mine, because I've noticed that even if the people don't know the character, I don't know how many of you have seen the Ginosaji, also known as the horribly slow murderer with the extremely inefficient weapon. Okay, in essence, he's a spoon killer. It's a demon who holds a spoon and keeps hitting you with a spoon day in and day out. Many people don't know it, but every time I perform as him, it seems like everybody likes it, even the people who are not involved in the audience or in the cosplay community. Even the people who are just selling stuff, selling like at the catering, they are kind of watching the show, and it gets their attention more than the regular anime character that they definitely don't know, but the cosplayer on the stage doesn't really do much to tell a story with that cosplay. So I'm gonna use that as an example, or that's what I'm planning. Because yes, we're kind of lacking the performance aspect of contest around here. I noticed that we're already 2 hours through the show, so I'm gonna put an end to the transmission. Those who can and want, we may remain here, but I'm gonna cut the transmission on Twitch and YouTube. Remember that everything is relative except that which is absolute. In that case, it would be absolute really relative. I'll see you in the future or in the past.